Good morning, everybody. This is Bailey Cooper from Austin, Texas, and I want to welcome you guys to Eric Lofholm's Daily Motivational Call. This call is designed to get you off to an outstanding day, and it is better than a cup of coffee. Today I want to talk to you guys about sales resilience, and one of my all-time heroes is George Herman Ruth Jr., born in 1895 to 1948. He was better known as Babe Ruth, and he was a professional baseball player whose career spanned 22 seasons, and he was nicknamed the Great Bambino, also the Sultan of SWAT. And he began, believe it or not, I was pretty amazed at these statistics. He began his career as one of the top pitchers in baseball. He was a left-handed pitcher out of Boston, the Red Sox, and he achieved what everybody knows him from his greatest fame as the slugging outfielder from the Yankees. And he established some major records and some pitching records as well, but career home runs, 714, runs batted in, 2,213, walks, 2,062, slugging percentage, 690, on base plus slugging, 1,164 percentage, and those last two statistics still stand today, which is pretty phenomenal. So he's regarded as one of the greatest sports heroes in American culture, especially for me, and I would call him the greatest baseball player of all time. What he's most remembered from is the called shot that he did in the 1932 World Series, where the Yankees were playing the Cubs, and it was a huge rivalry. And when Ruth came to the plate, the Chicago crowd and the Chicago players were screaming insults at him. A lot of trash talk going on. And there's actually documented evidence of this called shot. There's two pictures that people actually have where they got him pointing to center field. And basically he hit a home run over center field after he pointed to center field, which has never been done before and never since. And they won the game, and then they won the World Series. And they estimated that that ball actually traveled 500 feet. So this was way before performance-enhancing drugs and all these other major feats that had been manufactured by medicine that we've seen men do. And it just goes to show you what intention, the power of intention and resilience can do. And I want to sum up a few of his quotes that I love that define resilience for me. Don't be afraid to take advice. There's always something new to learn. Babe Ruth also said, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. I swing with everything I've got. I hit big or I miss big. I like to live as big as I can. Every strike brings me closer to the next home run. I love that one. Yesterday's home runs don't win today's games. It's hard to beat a person who never gives up. So to be resilient in sales, having the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and having the toughness to fight through the ups and downs in sales, one needs to look at the big picture. So there are many things that can actually happen to us in sales that it's easy to have tunnel vision and not objectively see what we may be doing wrong or what we may be doing right that we may not even be aware of. So like in Babe Ruth's case, I hit big or I miss big. Having a positive mental attitude to tell yourself that you're only one no away from a yes. The point that I want to make is to share what top sales professionals do after they miss big that others don't do after a demo no sale. SW, 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 SW. Some win, some won't. So what? There's always someone waiting. I want to tell you guys a story about my favorite door-to-door canvasser that I've ever trained. And this was back in 2011 or 2012, and I had the privilege of working with this gentleman named Judson, and he had never gone door to door. He had never sold anything before. He was a traveling musician. He was just a really positive, upbeat guy that was really easy to like. And he always showed up early, stayed late. Most importantly, he never let adversity get in the way of his performance. This guy had some adversity too. I mean, Judson, he had all sorts of personal relationship problems and difficulties that he would share with me one-on-one, but he would never bring to the table whenever it came time to do work. And I was so impressed by that because he was consistently a top producer. So he went on to stay having me as a coach as he moved on, and his band took off, and he went to other markets in the West Coast, and I was able to help coach and mentor him for a number of years after that. And wherever he ended up, he could always find a job that had door-to-door sales, and he knew exactly what to do. There was a stream of money there. And what was most intriguing to me was learning what actually kept him motivated and on top of his game despite all of the circumstances of life. One thing that Judson said, I'll never forget this. He told me that he didn't ever expect to set an appointment with every single contact. So he realized that marketing was just a numbers game. And then not every person out there that he's going to come in contact with had a need for what he was selling. He was just really, really, really good at disqualifying each customer and having a general conversation that led them to establishing a need. And if he couldn't establish a need or an interest in the product, he would always walk away and move on to the next door. Water off a duck. He never really took anything personally. So this is the concept of some will, some won't, so what? There's always somebody waiting. So I had taught him this, yet I had neglected to actually understand how simple this makes sales, really until years later. Because he told me one thing that helped him the most was inventorying why somebody didn't set an appointment. And if there was something that he didn't do correctly, if he failed to uncover while talking to them that could have helped him set that appointment or generate that sale. And then he would inventory what he would do differently before he would knock the next door. So this strategy can be related to what Eric Balfour teaches us as reverse engineering the sales process. What do you need to add to your presentation or take away from your presentation that can benefit you in the long run? Awareness. Sales can be lost for a variety of different reasons. It should not be because of poor sales skills, poor product quality, poor follow-up. I mean, these things we can absolutely control. So the work that we put into learning with the proper scripting, making sure that we're marketing the best product, and that we're prepared to overcome any and all objections that come up. These are things that are within our control. So Judson's analogy is, pretty remarkable comparison to that of Babe Ruth. Ruth's batting average was .342, and if anybody knows anything about baseball, that's amazing. But just look at that. He only succeeded 1/3 of the time. So 1 out of every 3 times he got a hit, but 2 out of every 3 times he was out. And a lot of those times, I believe he had the record for most strikeouts. So keeping that in mind, that the greatest baseball player of all time, only hit 1 out of every 3 times, yet Babe Ruth never changed his approach. He swung big, and he hit big or he missed big. And that's really key. So every time that you don't succeed, I really encourage you to ask yourself a few questions to identify why. Because if you don't, then you're just going to keep flying blindly, and it's going to be really difficult to learn what you need to improve. A few questions that I like to ask myself, did you do everything that you could have done to make the sale? Did you leave something out? Is there another component that you need to add to it? Was your attitude going into the sales presentation positive? Or were you thinking about something negative? Were you judging that person? Were you able to establish rapport? did you tell them what to do, or did you get them to admit their problem and help them to choose the solution that you've helped identify? Because properly conveying that solution is very key, but the biggest factor is having them admit the issue and then choose to take action. So these are questions that I ask myself, and I want to kind of go into, leaving you guys with 6 keys to sales resilience. So the essence of what great salespeople do that, people that don't do, after they achieve the final sale, is great salespeople always, always, always follow up with a personalized thank you note or letter, thanking them for their time. And, for me, this allows me to make an impression long after they didn't choose to do business with me. Ask them for a quick evaluation of your product. I recently incorporated this probably 3 months ago, and usually with an email follow-up on all of my customers and the people that I didn't sell. And with the people that actually reply, it's pretty powerful, because now I have key data that I can utilize for future presentations and customers to better serve them. You absolutely must find out what you lost the deal on. So if you didn't get the sale before you leave, ask them to help you so that you can better serve your future customers why they chose not to do business with you, because that can absolutely help you in the future. So keep the prospect on your list. Keep them up to date with changes in the industry, putting them on a newsletter, or even on your LinkedIn, if you're in LinkedIn, having them there, and then having an article list where you can pop off different newsletters. This is important, because what you do is you stay in the conversation, and you allow them to be aware that you care about them enough that if anything ever happens in the future, you're going to be there, and that you still believe in them, rather than, all right, thanks for your time, moving on to the next. That attitude, that caviar attitude, is just really salesy and unprofessional. So decide exactly what your competitor did to get their business. You got to figure that out. So you may not have been able to have matched their price, but in retrospect, could you have highlighted something else that would have made a difference? What is their promotion? What are they offering that you're not? How are they able to add value where you aren't? You got to accept that in industries, in companies and products, competitors change. So realize that if they're not buying now, that doesn't mean they won't in the future. Just kind of understand, what changes are going on in your industry. Don't let a no sale affect your attitude towards the next sale. So you guys, if Babe Ruth had failed twice in a row, he knew that his next success was just around the corner. Always have a positive attitude and always look forward. So in closing, the attitude of constant and never-ending improvement, that you can never fail, you can only learn and grow. By keeping this strategy and recognizing what you need to change in order to win, you will keep yourself at top of your game and ensure your success where others may fail. So, guys, I really appreciate this opportunity in talking to you about Babe Ruth and success and sales resilience. I wish you success as you go out there today with a positive attitude. And remember that you can never fail. You can only learn and grow. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Talk to you later.